I am so excited. Like the next 3 days, I love nothing more than to blast music and to just sort stuff out. It's like my favorite thing to do. I've got probably thousands of toys in my collection, and a lot of them are actually the keshigomu, the Japanese eraser toys that were mostly from gachapon machines in the 80s and early 90s. This is some of my Mario collection. I have so many toys like these amazing Microman figures and loads more buried in this glass showcase that I haven't really touched. I would go treasure hunting, find stuff, and then have nowhere to put it because of the space, and I would just kind of dump it in here. At one point, this all was very, very organized, and this was my attempt to try to organize some of that. I even cleared out one of these shelves, and then I just pile stuff back in there within a month from new stuff that I find. So I'm gonna dig through this top shelf and maybe a little bit of this shelf and see what we can find, because there's a lot of stuff in here that I've completely forgotten that I even own. So actually this guy was recently added in here. This is one of my favorite Pepsi Man toys. I recently did some Pepsi Man videos. My friend Ken was involved with a lot of these. But yeah, that one's a fun one. Cool action feature. This one is the lower torso of a Sucklord piece that broke off at his gallery show, and he gave it to me because he couldn't glue it back on. But someone bought the piece, so anyone that sees this video, if they own the Micronauts painting piece that has these figures glued to it, I've got the lower torso. Like, I don't collect a lot of Kamen Rider stuff unless it's Kamen Rider Black or the original Kamen Rider, but mostly Black. I have lots of Kamen Rider Black, and I'm kind of excited to see what I have in here that I haven't seen in a while. I also have lots of random paper goods stored in here. I guess so it's better than leaving it out in the open. But like, check this out. This is Godzilla, like promo display thing, but it's actually a 3D scope. And if you look in the little eyes here, you can see Godzilla kind of appears to be 3D. I don't know if the camera can show that or not, but ooh, kind of cool. Ooh, I haven't seen this one in a while. Some more vintage Kamen Rider Black stuff. More Kamen Rider Black, Kamen Rider Black, Kamen Rider Black. This is his brother who became Shadow Moon, his archenemy. I also like to collect these little SD Chorokyu, aka penny racers. Any kind of like old 80s like block body car or movie cars, especially Jurassic Park cars, one of my favorite ones. Police cars. Anytime I see police cars or fire trucks, I pick them up. They're good to display with some of your toys. Lots of random candy toys. This is like a little candy toy model kit that's I think that shoots out of his mouth. Yeah, if you press this in the back of his head, this shoots out of his mouth, and he's got wheels, and he can roll across the ground. Stuff like that is probably my favorite. Just like really cheap candy toy gimmick stuff. I love playing with that stuff. I actually have some really rare Batman pieces. This is a rare Batman Keshi. I have a load more of these. I don't know where they're at, but this is 1970s Batman. Speaking of Batman, this is probably the oldest and possibly the rarest item that I own. This is a 1950s Batman mask that was produced and sold here in Japan. And you can see it says Batman here in katakana. And this would have been, before the Adam West TV show. So this is back when there were various other media like manga and the Batman films that were black and white. I don't know how much of that made it over here, but Batman had a presence before Adam West, was popularized. So that's pretty wild. I used to collect a lot of Star Wars stuff, so I have like a lot of custom. This is like a custom rocket Fire and Boba Fett based on the original prototypes. Oh man, is this thing melted? No, okay. Here's a rare piece I forgot I had. So you've heard of Microman. This is a knockoff called Dokudo Man. And they even use the same font, it just has a do instead of a mi. And it's got a completely different body, but has a skeleton for a head. And there's companies like Gargamel that produce soft vinyl toys of this particular knockoff, but they also produced licensed Microman soft vinyl toys. I don't know how that worked. Here's a miniature mask, Ultraman mask. I actually have the full-size version on the wall over there at the very top. I don't know what the purpose of this was. I assume this was produced to like put on your dolls or something. It's even got the little holes, because I don't know anyone that has a kid that small. Ooh, I forgot I had this guy too. This is the spider Kaijin from the original Kamen Rider series. This was a reissue soft vinyl toy, and I gave him Keshi guts. I wonder who's in there. Who did I chop up and stick in there? Looks like Arale in the top. Here's some rare Keshi. These are Gamera Legions. These are the Legion bugs. There's not a whole lot of Gamera merchandise. There's more now than there used to be, but these are from like 1996. They're still on the original runner or sprue. Here's a couple of unique Ultra 7 items. This is clearly a bootleg of Ultra 7. I love weird bootlegs like this. I'm so happy to rediscover this one in my showcase. And then this one is from a line by Poppy, produced in the late 70s. And this ran alongside of the Kenner Star Wars line. And they sold these in the exact same kind of box that they sold the Star Wars ones in. Called the something Hero series. Ultra Hero series. They did Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Sentai, and Star Wars. More weird. See, like anything weird like this that I have no explanation for, like, it's obviously Ultraman. It was obviously meant to hang from something. Who produced it? Is it licensed? I don't know. They weren't really adamant about that kind of stuff in the 70s. And he's got this thing on his back. I assume this is to stick your coins. I assume this is a coin holder. You put like 100 yen coins inside. But yeah, cool little things like that are always my favorites to find. Yeah, wow. Coin purse. Oh, okay. So this is the same thing as this. Look at that. I probably bought these completely different, years. They're different things, but this has got the same little mechanism on the back. You can see it here. So my guess was correct. And I like how it's written in English and Japanese, and it has a spaceship. This looks like it was an original ticket, or part of a ticket stub for a Dragon Ball Z movie that was alongside of Dr. Slump and Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm not a super huge Yu Yu Hakusho fan, but I do have these two figures just because they look really awesome. They're from the early 90s as well. Now, this is something I'm glad to see. This is an original Poppy Ultraman. You used to see these everywhere for like 100 to 300 yen. No one cared about them. And then in the last couple of years, I see these sell for like close to $100 a piece. I don't understand. Anything that I can find from like a candy toy box from like the supermarket candy aisle, because a lot of this stuff was sold in these kinds of boxes. These are all from like candy aisle types of items. So I have some of the boxes for some of this stuff. I try to keep some of the boxes. The boxes are really hard to find, but anytime I find the toys, they're so much cheaper than buying a big vinyl toy. This is like Kamen Rider Madball type of thing. I've got some Godzilla ones of these too. Every now and then you'll dig out a Ninja Turtle. I think there's like one Ninja Turtle for every 500 Ultraman in here. This is one of my favorite ones, the Samurai Leo. here's Indiana Jones. Here is an original tote, not a reissue. And then here is, I think, one of the only Indiana Jones toys that they didn't reissue. They did not reissue. This is Indiana Jones in German uniform, AKA he's a Nazi. Why wouldn't you reissue it? He's in disguise. He's not an actual Nazi. Another like rack toy type of thing. I think I've got one of these sealed in the package somewhere. It's just, I guess this was probably released back when Microman was popular. They were like, oh, we've got this lizard model. Okay, let's make the head in vac metal. Why? I don't know. It's pretty cool though. Here's some more of my favorite types of candy toys. These are called Honezaurus, which is just like a weird word that means basically bony dinosaurs, sort of. And they still sell these every month. There's a new wave that comes out every couple months or so. They're made by a company called Kabaya. They also produce Transformers and Microman toys for candy aisles, but these glow in the dark and they're wind up. Not all of them do that, but almost every series has this guy too. You can buy like any series and it'll have that little helmeted skeleton guy. I used to customize a lot of Microman figures, buy, sell, customize, trade 10 years ago. So I have some of the remnants of that. You can see here like a lot of my Microman stuff, but some loose guys I haven't seen in a while. What else is in here? I don't remember this at all. More Ultra 7 bootleg rack toys, I guess. This one feels kind of hefty. He's got something inside. I don't know what his deal is. Ooh, here's a cool one I forgot I had too. This is a miniature replica of the first Godzilla motorized 10 toy by Maru-san. One of the first. They did two different versions. But yeah, this miniature version now sells for like $50, which is insane. This was also like a box candy toy. I've got mint on card vintage Ultra 7 toys that I forgot I had. Mint on card with header. That's awesome. Here's a cool figure. This is one of the Dark Troopers from Mandalorian. The interesting thing about this was produced by a friend of mine. This is not officially licensed. And his name is Has No Talent. And the very first toy collaboration I ever did was actually with him. And we produced a line of rocket firing Boba Fett's and rocket firing Darth Vader's that were kind of Microman inspired color repaints and some wacky things. So yeah, he actually kind of got kind of big on his own, and he makes really awesome, all like factory made, not licensed Star Wars stuff. And this is one of the coolest pieces that he made. It's a really cool piece. So I have these two Ultramen here. They're obviously the same body. These are produced by Yutaka. And they have these weird joints here. And for some reason they did yellow joints on this one instead of red or silver. And I have a lot of the rare ones for Dragon Ball too. Same company, exact same body style with weird joints that don't match the body color. I love those. I love those more than hyper-realistic toys, anything that's wonky like that. But I've been trying to collect all the variants of Ultraman, and as far as I knew, this was the only variant I was missing, but lo and behold, it was in that showcase. And now I have all 4 variants. These are vintage 1970s knockoff Godzillas based on Maru-san's J-Tail original. And these would have been sold at like the counter at a candy shop or toy shop, not licensed. And there are 3 versions. There's a pinkish red, blue, and a green. I'm only missing green. But they were obviously cashing in on the Henshin Cyborg boom at the time. Some kind of Diaclone knockoff on futuristic unicycle. Kamen Rider Zeto Bandai toy. This was way harder to find than I expected it to be, because you can find the 90s Bandai stuff fairly easily, but like, just got a whole battle cat up here. I found this here, believe it or not, when I do find like stuff from my childhood that I don't own anymore, that I have fond memories of, I tend to pick it up. So I have a lot of original He-Man stuff, but for some reason Battle Cat's jammed in there. I do have Michael Keaton in a turtleneck, and I think this is probably my favorite He-Man toy.
Oh yeah, Thunder Punch.
Thunder Punch. I think this was the one that my aunt gifted me 2 different He-Man toys on like my birthday and Christmas, so they were like a few months apart, but this was one of them. But I had to recently being like 5 years ago, had to buy it again. But I love this He-Man, Thunder Punch He-Man, and his translucent gold sword. How about some Korean Silverhawks? These are hard to find. And the only thing that articulates are his legs. He can like kind of do the splits. Here's probably one of my all-time favorite candy toys. This is early 90s Mecha King Ghidorah by Bandai. This was something you had to get out of a candy box and assemble yourself, but it was already pre-painted. I just love how this looks. They still produce a lot of toy guns here, like for kids, and they have like working parts, and they're like miniature. Like this fires little BBs out of it, but stuff like that you won't find in the US at all. Any kind of weird Pigumon I can find, like a skeleton Pigumon that glows in the dark. Yeah, I need to fix him. But when he does work, he blinks and his mouth kind of moves and his hands kind of move. Actually, these are kind of cool. These are from Shin Kamen Rider. These were candy toys. These were, sold in a little candy box. And these were, this still is, a bag of chips. But these are a recreation using the modernized version of Kamen Rider, based on the old chip bags from the 70s that they sold in promotion for the original Kamen Rider. So I thought it was cool to have Kamen Rider and his bike from a candy toy set and a recreation of the bag of chips from the 70s. The original bags of chips sell for hundreds of dollars. Speaking of guns, why not, right? Why not fire liquid out of Ultraman's crotch? So many of these pieces are just fragile plastic, do DIY, build it yourself kinds of kits, mini kits from candy toys. I guess I would say that if you were to add up all of my toys and count them, I probably have more candy toys and gachapon toys than I do anything else. They speak to me. See, told you. One turtle for every 500 toys in here.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.